Hello, and welcome back, subscribers and new viewers, to another Sunday Speed Paint. And don't click off this video. I know what you were expecting, and I know this isn't the Dream Team fusions as I mentioned in the last couple of videos, but I have two reasons for that. One, I do not want to repeat the past mistakes that I've made when making other rushed artwork. I give myself a deadline, and then something happens where that deadline always just gets messed up, and that's why the void looms over my shoulder telling me that I bit off more than I could chew again. The second reason is because as I bit off more than I could chew, I ended up getting sick while I was working on warm-up sketches and didn't go from the warm-up sketches to the project like I had planned to. The first couple of weeks of the month, when I had made my last video where I was sharing my Pokémon journey, I was hyped. I was raring and ready to go. I had already started some sketches of the potential, concept of how the starters were gonna look, how the legendaries were gonna look, because I was taking 12 of my favorite Pokémon. What more could I have asked for it? For the motivation, the inspiration, it was all right there, and then timing of the universe hits me with the bug, or cold, or whatever it was that was floating around, and I was just completely drained. I could do only the basic functions to keep myself healthy and proceed with regular part-time work and all that jazz, and then by the time I got done with everything, it finally was the almost end of the month, and I was just sitting there like, I need to slow down. When I'm sick, I'm sick. There's not much I can do for it, and I needed to remind myself that by doing warm-up sketches, and I thought it would be fun to share with you the importance for me and share with you all, because as a self-taught digital artist, and also a self-taught traditional artist with most of this stuff, after high school, because I did learn some stuff from there, otherwise I wouldn't have some of the skills that I do, but basically, as soon as I finished high school, all of the art stuff I did was all me learning on my own or through general tutorials on the internet that I could find that were helpful at the time. Expanding on this now, it is basically me just kind of reminding myself that it's okay to look up references when you need them. It's okay to have to practice things over and over again until you get the result that you desire, and it's also okay to move on if you don't get that desired result and have to just say, I'm putting my hands up and moving on, or else I'm gonna be here forever, restarting this over and over again. And honestly, with a lot of these illustrations that you guys have seen on the channel with my over 100 OCs, most of them wouldn't exist if it wasn't for some of the failures along the way. There are probably hundreds, if not maybe thousands, of drawings that I've scrapped or had just been simple warm-up sketches that don't usually get to see the light of day, but I do try to show off almost all of my illustrations so that you guys can see both sides of it. It's not perfection, because it does take a lot of practice to get to those points where the art, to both me and to you, looks really good. There have been countless times on this channel where I've mentioned things to the effect of style, or at least something that's recognizable and iconic. A large portion of the things that I'm a fan of, it is very strongly to that particular style. You may see a lot of resemblance of Sonic, mostly furry-related kind of artwork, and anime-esque kind of styles in the way that I draw, but I also have, as you notice through my sketches, either blocky or chicken scratchy kind of ways because of the fact that when I'm drawing, sometimes I don't use my entire arm like you normally should. I have limited space because I sit in either shrimp position, which is terrible for my back, or I'm sitting on the bed with like a bajillion pillows surrounding me, so my arm is quite literally limited by the surroundings, but I'm comfortable and could sit there accidentally for hours and do the typical forget to drink artist kind of habit. Which is also not great for the artwork in the long run, because I'll eventually get like a burnout from that, but with a large portion of my characters, I miss sometimes being able to actually act out and interact as these characters, because that's something that me and my friends used to do a lot of. Even if it was just voice acting, we could still technically act it out. It didn't have to be in person, but I used to have that with my best friend where we'd run around the backyard and do all kinds of fun shenanigans like that, but with a bunch of these characters, I miss being able to do that, because these characters, like Fletcher here, I have tons of information about these characters that's in my head and in text documents, but I haven't actually drawn out their reference sheets until recently to show them off. And I feel like sometimes I do definitely get ahead of myself when it comes to the various projects, because as much as I'm a fan of making fan art of various things, I can't always let that hyperfixation sink in, because I'm working on something currently, And I can get so lost in being heavily influenced that I forget that I want to go back and work on some of my original characters. Sometimes it's really difficult, so having friends that used to be able to do that with me, where they could pull me away from something that I was doing to get back in the zone of being with my own original characters and their characters, was something really fun. There's 100 different characters that I've made thanks to friends, where these humanoid characters and such wouldn't exist if not for their assistance, and I'm grateful for that. Back then, with my friends, with the collaborative ideas, we also had the freedom to be able to create tons of different alternate endings. It was fun to take a main storyline and create dead ends where it was simply, what if this character died? What if they fell in love? What if there was drama, mystery, all of that, but there was a catch. That was teamwork for fun. I wasn't asking them for anything. It wasn't obligations for me to make artwork for it. It was just something that we could do on the sidelines versus me making my projects completely solo aside from voice-acted assistance. It's why I focus very strongly on using notebooks to write out stuff, because otherwise I forget very easily. It's essentially like people when you wake up from a dream and you can faintly recall what happened. It feels like you spent hours in a dreamscape only to remember like 6 seconds of it, and you're like trying to frantically write it down in a journal before you forget it. That's how it feels with some of my ideas, because I could be at work, I could be out in nature, I could be on a bus ride, and essentially I'm sitting there saying, I want to draw, I want to draw, I want to draw, and then the second I get home, I don't feel like drawing, and it's horrible because I had all that motivation, and it just poofs, it's gone. It's like a sudden instantaneous art block when I need to be able to do my artwork at the times that I have free time. Some of these characters and stories and illustrations wouldn't exist if I didn't have specific things happen at specific times, and I'm grateful for a lot of those ideas that my brain holds to, because if I didn't come up with those ideas, a large portion of my hundreds of OCs wouldn't exist. Same thing with how if I wasn't a fan of something, you wouldn't see me drawing fan art for it, because, trust me, as much of a fan of things as I am, there's a lot that you don't see on my channel. I mean, you don't really see, like, Disney princesses, or zombies from The Walking Dead, or various other video games that I've never played before, because sometimes I may also play video games that you may have never have heard of. There are also some things that I do not feel artistically capable of drawing, because I may be a fan of things like Transformers, or Digimon, or even things from Terraria, but I don't have to draw all of those things. Plus, it's complicated when doing art studies of things like mecha. Or maybe that might actually be helpful considering that I'm a fan of red versus blue and I kind of want to draw Felix in his armor. But yeah, that's for another day. Basically, all these ideas float around in my head, but there's not always enough time to do it, so I do what I can when I can, and I'm happy to share what I choose to share on this channel, be it original characters or fan artwork, and I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video and stick around for more of my art journey as we get back on track together. Thanks so much for watching. Stay pawsome. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so very much. If you have not already, don't forget to leave some likes and comments and subscribe to join the Subscribblers squad. In the meantime, don't forget to check out some of my playlists, and if you would like any fan artwork featured at the end of the video in the Subscribblers gallery, tag me in it. I would love to see what you guys make. And if you'd like to support my works and see more, check out my card link below, especially for the patron exclusive rewards. £2 a month, the Fennec Fox tier gets you access to secret sketches and artwork early. The Arctic Foxes, for £5 a month, you get exclusive access to videos and webtoons pages early, and the Red Foxes have the opportunity to be featured as a background character or a commission instead, and your name read out at the end of the videos just like this. Thank you so much to Frankie Jr. 13. Stay pawsome, Subscribblers, and I'll see you real soon.